For what purpose does the gentleman from Indiana seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I move that the House suspend the rules and pass Senate Bill 846.
The clerk will report the title of the bill.
Senate 846, an act to award a Congressional Gold Medal to Dr. Muhammad Yunus in recognition of his contributions to the fight against global poverty.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Carson, and the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Baucus, each will control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Indiana.
Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days within which to revise and extend their remarks on this legislation and to exert extraneous material thereon.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I rise today in strong support of Senate Bill 846, a bill to award Dr. Muhammad Yunus with a Congressional Gold Medal in recognition of his contributions to the fight against global poverty. Credited with developing the concept of microlending, the extension of very small loans to very poor people without requiring collateral, Dr. Yunus has revolutionized global efforts to eliminate extreme poverty by making small loans available to entrepreneurs that lack access to the resources of traditional banks. Dr. Yunus has given many people the tools they need to lift themselves out of poverty. In 1976, Dr. Yunus made his first successful microloan to 42 women from a small village in Bangladesh who made crafts out of bamboo using $27 out of his own pocket. When that first loan was made, it would have been difficult to imagine that it would launch a revolution in the fight against international poverty. Based on this methodology, Dr. Yunus founded Grameen Bank, which has loaned over $7 billion to over 7.5 million small borrowers. His work has had a particularly profound impact on the lives of women who have received as over 95% of these microcredit loans. This successful model has been implemented in over 100 countries, in both developing nations and prosperous nations like the United States. In the United States, the Small Business Administration is based on the same model and has made over $380 million in microloans to entrepreneurs since 1992. Internationally, it is estimated that over 155 million people have already benefited from these types of loans. And today, the movement has the potential of reaching many of the 2.6 billion men and women and children that currently live on less than $2 a day. Dr. Yunus has received a multitude of recognitions for his work, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006 and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009. Currently, the House companion bill offered by the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Holt, has the co-sponsorship of over 2/3 of the U.S. House of Representatives. So in light of the strong support we have already shown for this legislation, I urge my colleagues to support Senate Bill 846 to award Dr. Yunus the honor of a Congressional Gold Medal. Madam Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Indiana.
Madam Speaker, I claim the time for the minority, and I speak in support of the legislation.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I rise today in support of SR 846, a bill that would authorize the award of a Congressional Gold Medal to one of the great humanitarians of our time, Dr. Muhammad Yunus. Over the last couple of years, we have talked on the floor of this chamber and in committees about the effects of the recent economic crisis and how it has limited our ability to procure loans in this country. We all know that credit is the lifeblood of both business and daily life, and that businesses need capital to invest in tools labor and raw materials, and that individuals need credit for both short-term needs and long-term investments, such as college educations or to buy a house or a car. The need to free up credit in the United States is important, but in this great country that offers so much for us to enjoy, it is easy to lose sight of how serious the need for credit is elsewhere. There, it's sometimes a matter of surviving or being able to eke out a living. Americans may need a loan to purchase a new car, whereas a person in Bangladesh may need a loan to merely survive. Madam Speaker, it's testimony to a man we honor today that he both recognized the needs of many for loans of very small amounts of money and devised a system that can be replicated anywhere to address that need. Dr. Yunus, born in Bangladesh and the holder of a doctorate from Vanderbilt, made his first step towards solving the problem in 1976 in his native country. And Mr. Carson mentioned this, when he loaned an equivalent of $27 to 42 women and made each a co-guarantee with the responsibility of ensuring that the money was paid back in full. These women then used the money to make bamboo furniture. Previously, to buy bamboo, they had been forced to borrow interest rates that we would consider criminal and certainly usurious. With the loans, they were able to make furniture at a small profit. Soon, with a small grant from the government of his newly independent country, Dr. Yunus founded what became the Grameen Bank, and lenders using that model have made billions of dollars of so-called microloans to millions of people. I know Chairman Waters has spoken about this, and many other members, is what this has meant to men and women in poor countries around the world. More than 90% of the borrowers are said to have been women, however. In the years since the founding of the bank, the Grameen model has blossomed, spawning variations that include nonprofits and for-profit investments in projects ranging from information technology and communications to food production, with partners ranging from small local companies to giant multinationals. One project has funded the installation of nearly 500,000 small solar electrical plants producing power for off-the-grid people in Bangladesh. I remember reading Robert Cairo's book about Lyndon Johnson and what electricity meant to the hill country of Texas. The miracle that we saw in America a century ago is being repeated in these countries now, the miracle of electricity. But this micro-lending model is not confined to small, poor developing countries. It's found its way to Canada and even the United States. Dr. Yunus holds out the possibility that another offshoot he calls social business might be a way to help redevelop Haiti and bring its people out of poverty, as well as in developed countries to provide a path to help the poor become self-supporting without the need for welfare. Through all of this, Dr. Yunus has been not only a visionary innovator, but a tireless advocate for the model that he believes can ease and even end poverty. For this, he's been recognized several times and in many ways. He and the Grameen Bank were co-recipients of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006, and in 2009, Dr. Yunus received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama. It is now time that Congress, in a bipartisan way, honors such a devoted and selfless individual. And that's what we do today with 296 co-sponsors. I commend Senator Durbin for introducing this bill. I commend the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Holt, who introduced the House companion bill, H.R. 2000. With passage today, this bill will go directly to the President's desk. This is just one of many examples of how a small amount of money changed the lives and the fortunes and the futures of families and countries around this world. I think of a book I just completed in the last year, Greg Mortenson's 3 Cups of Tea. where a gentleman from California went to really the tribal areas of Pakistan and helped build a school and educate children for just what we would call insignificant amount. And it truly is I think, an inspiring thing to read of people of this character and this commitment. Madam Speaker, let me close by saying that this is an overdue recognition of a vastly important concept and the man who devised it, and I urge immediate passage and reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves.